Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of National Council of Jewish Women, Bergen County Section, I'm delighted to welcome you to our annual Munch and Learn, AKA Lunch and Learn. Today's program is NCJW in Israel, a virtual journey. I hope you've all received, and I don't know if you can see it, these wonderful Munch and Learn packets that were delivered yesterday to most people. And I hope you are all enjoying your delicious Israeli munchies, curated by Karen Kurlan and Paula Schwartz. And as I said earlier, delivered to your home by members of our program committee and others. Just a few housekeeping announcements. For your and others' optimum enjoyment, please remain muted and set your screen on speaker's view rather than gallery view. Also, please put your questions in the chat. There will be a Q&A later. The chat is at the bottom of your screen if you're on a computer, and it's accessed via the three dots at the top of your screen if you're on an iPad or iPhone. Today, it is my great pleasure to introduce Carol Benson, Chair of Israeli Affairs. Carol is passionate about NCJW's work in Israel, and we are proud that she is also a member of the International Council of Jewish Women Status of Women Committee. Carol, the floor is yours.
Mute. Hello. Thank you, Barry Lynn. Good afternoon and good evening in Israel, whether you're here or in Israel. So now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Kalela Lancaster. Kalela is NCJW's new Israel program manager, who comes to us today, thanks to Zoom, from somewhere in the middle of Israel, in a small town, I think. Kalela will... Say it again.
Pardes Chana.
Okay, where's that near, please?
It's near Caesarea, Zichron Yaakov, for people who know.
Gorgeous. Sounds lovely. I must come. Kalela is going to accompany us on a journey of discovery about herself, as well as some other strong, amazing, remarkable Israeli women. Shalom, Kalela. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Wow, what a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much to both of you, Barilyn and Carol. And it's lovely to see you all, lovely to meet you. I am really delighted to be here, and I think it's really inspiring that you are all so interested and engaged and passionate and keen to hear about me and about but mostly about what NCJW is doing in Israel. My name is Kalela Lancaster, and I am, just like Carol, originally from the UK, but today I'm NCJW's program manager in Israel, and I have a PowerPoint presentation which I'll share, if that's all right with all of you, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so this is me, as I said, and I've been in Israel for 20 years. I live in Pardes Chana, which I can show you soon on the map, because there's a map coming up in one of my slides here. Since I moved from the UK 20 years ago, I've lived in various places in the country. I've lived in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, and now I live in Pardes Chana. My career has been in the nonprofit sector all through that time. I've worked in various different capacities in different kinds of organizations. I worked in the human rights field. I worked in coexistence field and shared society field. And for really around the last 10 years or or possibly even more. I've been really involved in what we call capacity building, which means training and supporting and advising and consulting to nonprofit organizations on issues like strategic planning and development, fundraising, awareness raising, engagement, and evaluation as well. So I was really delighted to join NCJW back in November, which feels like ages ago. It feels like I've been with NCJW for years and years. And, you know, really excited to be part of an organization which really I feel sits exactly on the intersection between a whole bunch of passions of mine. One of those passions is to do with women and feminism and equality for women, which is, I think, for the vast majority of progressive-minded women, is often the starting point to caring about issues and having strong feelings about the importance of social justice. It also enables me to make the most of the fact that I'm bilingual, I'm bicultural, and I really care about the meeting between the worlds of Jewish communities internationally and Israel. And the other reason that I really love NCJW and really excited to have this role is because I've always been very keen to work at a grassroots level, working with people on the ground, working with movements, working to organize communities. And I feel like that NCJW, both in the US and in Israel, is a real model of that. So that's all enough about me. I'm going to talk today a little bit, a very, very little bit about what we do in Israel, just kind of standing on one leg, telling you about it. But the main thing that I want to do is I want to share with you a video of our 3 grantees in this year, for 2022, who actually shared last month to a group of representatives from sections, and I think some of you might have been there, about a bit more about their work. So the main event today is going to be the grantees themselves speaking, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background before we dive into that. So, okay. So the grantees we're going to see today are obviously part of our IGP program. I'm sure I don't need to tell you much about that. IGP have all contributed generously to IGP over the years, and over $2 million dollars have been made in grants since 1998 through IGP. The wonderful thing about these grants is that NCJW has often been quite bold in the way it's given funding. It's given funding to issues and to strategies of change that other kinds of donors might find too nerve-wracking to touch, you know. So what we're going to see tonight and the women that we're going to hear from tonight in the video are representatives of the grantees for 2022. And that's the tradition since 1998, and the investments that we've been making, they are within that vein. But we have some other important work that we do in Israel. We also, I'm sure you probably also know that in 2001, NCJW endowed the Women and Gender Studies program at Tel Aviv University, the first such department of its kind in the Middle East. And we continue to have a strong relationship with them today, and we provide scholarships and other forms of support. And we also partner with Tel Aviv University in our 3rd program, which is a very important and impactful program, which is called Connecting for Impact. And that program really, it's been since 2018. We've had 2 cohorts so far. It's a leadership program for women change makers who are leading in the field in various different issues. And it's a program which really brings them together over a course of 18 months, looking for ways that their impact can be magnified through working more together. What I want to tell you is that a couple of the grantees that you're going to meet tonight, virtually or through watching them on the video at least, two of the organizations already had a connection through Connecting to Impact. One has a representative that you'll hear from that's a current fellow, and another one has a member of staff who was a previous fellow. So really, I feel like everything is connected, and all these strategies, kind of spreading out strategies, financial strategies or philanthropic strategies, capacity building strategies, and leadership development and thought development strategies. All of this kind of creates a whole, which is, I think, very impactful in Israel. And for me, it's very exciting. Okay, so a word on our three grantees. So here I brought the map, and by the way, where I live is kind of around here. Can you see that between Tel Aviv and Haifa? I brought the map, and first thing I wanted to show you was that our grantees come from all parts of the country. Our three grantees come from Haifa, Tel Aviv, and the Negev in the south. So it's great that this is how we get to have a virtual journey, by traveling the breadth of the country through our grantees. And there's three organizations that you're going to hear from. Isha Isha, which is an organization that is based in Haifa, and that we have a long-standing relationship with. I'm not going to say so much more about that now, because they'll be introduced in the video. Physicians for Human Rights, based in Tel Aviv, which is an international organization, but they have a base in Israel. And an organization called Al Bakur, which is in the Negev, serving the Bedouin population. So these organizations, I'm now going to share with you a video of the meeting that we had last month, the end of last month, a Zoom meeting. And some of our own members, our Israel committee members, introduced the speakers. So I think they gave a really nice introduction. So I also want to include them in the video. But I've made an abridged version for tonight. And we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to start down at Al Bakur with an introduction from, sorry, just one more thing. Sorry. One more thing I wanted to say is that with this, the reason why we're hearing from this video is that this video is of an event which was launching a new model that we have with the IGP this year, which we've called IGP Boost. And the basic idea of this model is that NCJW has provided a base grant to all three of these grantees. It's provided $20,000 to each grantee, and sections are encouraged to bump this up with boost grants, what we've defined as IGP Boost, and really offering you the opportunity to sort of develop closer relationships with these organizations and learn a bit more in depth about the work that they do. And I know that you're going to be, at the end of this call, looking at which organization you'd like to boost in this way. There's more information about the boost model, which I'm sure will be made available to you. And if not, you'll get it after this call. Okay, so over to the video. So we're going to be starting, not with Lauren, actually with Steph, even though it's frozen on Lauren. We're going to be starting with Steph. I'm just going to move on in, if that's okay for everybody. Yeah, good? Okay, so we're going to get started.
So it is my great honor to introduce our first grantee representatives, Shulamit and Radir of Al Bakur, an amazing organization that focuses on early childhood development in the Arab Society of the Negev through cultural and community appropriate models for young children and their families. We're especially excited about this project through IGP, which will train the Bedouin women of the Negev in early childhood education, advancing their economic participation in the working world, narrowing the essential service gap, and strengthening the Bedouin community's access to early childhood services. The organization resonates with me personally because as a mom of young kids, I understand the importance of early child education and also how it links to their future success. So with that, I am gonna pass it over to Shamit and Rainier. Thank you so much.
Kalela? חשבתי שנפעם עד היום. אוקיי, כנראה שלא. אוקיי. Dear all, my name is Shlomit, a social worker and a facilitator of social services in the Bedouin community for many years. I'm also the Dreamer founder and CEO of Al-Bakur. Al-Bakur, which is like the Hebrew word Bikurim, it's the first child or the first fruit or the first rain. I thank you all for the trust and this grant. I am aware to the historical commitment of NCJW to developing services for young children in Israel. I apologize for my English, it's not my mother language, and sometimes I will use the paper to express what I want to say. Al-Bakur was founded in 2017 by Arab and Jewish professionals who are expertise in early childhood development, and most of us were very much involved in operating and services for this community. Our mission is first to raise awareness for the importance of investing in early childhood among policymakers and parents and professionals. I will give a short brief about the community, about the Bedouin community, which is the poorest community in all Israel. We have about 270,000 people. Half of them live in unrecognized villages, sometimes without basic infrastructure. Quarter of the population are children until the age of 6. Less than 4% of the children birth to 3 years old are in formal education system, and not always the best one, and this is an understatement. There is a crucial shortage in preschool education services, which what made us make our organization specialize in this group, which the early childhood. The light is the good thing is that almost 100% of the mothers visit family health centers, which we call Tipat Halav, on a quarterly, let's say in every few months they come to this Tipat Halav, and it's a center for the mothers in which we operate more of our services. I did not know that toddlers can learn so much until the age of 2 years old. This is the most common comment we receive for participating parents in our training programs. Our goal is to hear this sentence in every program and from every policymaker and every professional person. But we cannot do all the things we want if we don't have a local professional staff. NCJW BCS grant is funding our early motherhood employment training program. Is not only the heart of our work, it's the base of our work, because we want to strengthen community resilience. Why this project so important? We expect our work to be like a domino. The more women are trained, the more women in the workforce, there is more early childhood education services, and this all make pressure upon policy makers, upon mayor of the cities, to bring up more services for early childhood, which, as I said, almost do not exist at all. Our program, what you see now is what your grant can do, your boost grant. We operate now 9 libraries in Tipat Halav centers for early parents. We have a guiding librarian who work with the mother. We access our services by sending stories and other educational activities through various digital platforms, library on wheels, and we also work in the yards of the houses. We have 3,000 mothers in our program. Also illiterated women, and now I want to tell you a story about illiterated women who told Hala. Hala is the name of the librarian guide. She said, "Oh, how do you want me to read my child a book while I myself cannot read?" And Hala said, "You come with me. I show you that you can read. I will prove you that you can read." And she took her son, the little boy, on her knee, and she told him the story. She read the story, but since we are dealing with very young children, there are a lot of pictures. After she finished, she said to the mother, "And now you will tell your son the story from the picture." And the mother tell her child the story. And Hala said, "You see, didn't I tell you you can read? Now you take a book, you go home and you read your child stories." Our youngest and most dedicated client is 5 years old Muhammad, which is highly hyperactive, and only stories can relax him. He's a very sweet boy. Maybe if you come, you can meet him. Another project is me and my child program, and this is not a spelling mistake because we are focusing on the mothers. The first hour we work mothers and children with an expert for early child development, and the second hour is only for the mothers. You can see them during breakfast with social worker, and they are dealing issues concerned early childhood development. Sometimes we have also a speech therapist. We have a pediatrician. We have an expert for nutrition who also take part in this project. These mothers, by the way, invited us to work in their yards in another project. Truth springs out of the earth. I don't know how many of you know Hebrew. It means emet me'eretz titzmach. And it's what we want to do is to restore a sense of agency for parents and communities. We believe in the power of the community, and we want to encourage the power of the community to work for itself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren.
Just giving you a moment of pause. Just going to check in 1 second. Hello, just checking that you're all still there and that you're all still with us. So that was the first organization, Al-Bakor, focusing on early childhood education for the Bedouin community in the Negev. Very passionate founder that we heard from. She's really wonderful. And I think she really laid out in a very moving way the impact of their project. So if you're all good and ready, I'll be happy to move on to the next.
Reese Garfunkel. I am a director on the national board and I sit on our Israel committee. I'm thrilled to introduce our next grantee representatives, Lee and Zoe from Physicians for Human Rights, which works to promote a just society where the right to health is granted equally to all people under Israel's responsibility. Their project through IGP is particularly apt for NCJW as it provides sexual health and reproductive care to women without permanent legal status in the Tel Aviv-Yafo area. It will enable prenatal care, birth control, gynecological care, abortion, and support groups for pregnancy loss and fertility challenges to thousands of women living in Israel without legal status, including asylum seekers, work migrants, Palestinians who are persecuted due to their sexual orientation, and many others. As many of you know, my passion is reproductive justice and access to abortion, and I'm thrilled to be supporting this organization, tying our reproductive work here in the States to our work in Israel. Lee and Zoe, you can take it away.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And thanks a lot for this opportunity. Let me just share. Here it is. Just a moment. Can you see it? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks great.
So my name is Zoe, and I'm head of the Bella Kaufman Open Clinic at Physicians for Human Rights Israel. And the Open Clinic is a volunteer-run clinic for migrants and refugees and other statusless individuals. And I'm really honored and thrilled for this opportunity to present a project that is very central to our work. It revolves around women's health and specifically reproductive health. This project engages one of the most discriminated against and marginalized populations in Israel that we meet at the Open Clinic every day, migrant women, and especially African asylum seekers who have lived in Israel for over a decade now, but with hardly any access to healthcare. And I have to say personally that this project is very dear to me, as it lies at the intersection between the right to health and women's rights over their bodies. And it involves not just access to medical treatment per se, but also the overall well-being and empowerment of women. But before I turn to the details of this project, I want you to all meet Tsega. Tsega, a 32-year-old Eritrean asylum seeker, has been living in Israel for the past 11 years. A mother of two, she came to our Open Clinic last year after suffering what appeared like an epileptic seizure. At the Open Clinic, she began follow-ups with our volunteer neurologist. Gradually, Tsega disclosed some of what happened to her prior to entering Israel. She described how during her flight from a refugee camp in Sudan, she was kidnapped, held hostage, and suffered abuse for 2 months in the Sinai Desert. Then recently, she revealed to us that she was pregnant again and was unsure what to do. Her partner insisted that he would leave her if she did not keep the baby, while our doctors insisted that carrying the baby to term might be hazardous to her health. Tsega needed to discuss her options. Before the pandemic, she was cleaning offices and managed somehow to get by. But with the first lockdown in 2020, she was laid off, and with that, her very limited insurance terminated as well. Now, her partner is barely able to support the family. Even if she decided to terminate the pregnancy, how could she afford it? If she's willing to start using contraceptives, how would she know which is right for her? And with no health insurance, who would prescribe this to her on a regular basis? And who could explain her condition to her partner? What will happen if he indeed leaves her? Tsega is in a real bind, but to be honest, her situation is not that unusual, unfortunately. Israel is home to some 200,000 migrants and asylum seekers, the majority of whom reside here legally, sometimes with work permits, sometimes with other forms of visas. Yet, since they're not considered Israeli residents, they have very limited access to social services and healthcare. Usually, they have to wait until their condition deteriorates to receive medical treatment through the ER. Among them, women form a particularly disadvantaged and vulnerable group. For example, like Tsega, there are approximately 5,200 women asylum seekers, mostly from Eritrea, Sudan, and Ethiopia. Even though Israel grants them protection from deportation, it refuses to grant them refugee status and the social rights that attach to it. 85% of these women are single mothers, and most can barely put food on the table nowadays. Nearly half survived trafficking and torture, physical, mental, and sexual violence in the Sinai Peninsula upon entering Israel. Many, therefore, suffer from high rates of PTSD symptoms, depression, anxiety, and somatic pains. We witness the ramifications every day at the clinic. The pandemic has exacerbated their situation. Most lost their jobs, and with this, their health insurance. And moreover, during COVID-19, survival sex has tripled among these women, thereby giving rise to ever-increasing needs of reproductive health services. But like Tsega, more than half of these women have no access to medical treatment unless they're in a medical emergency. They have no way to obtain general checkups, prenatal care, or any other medical services. And basically, this is where PHR Israel enters the scene. For the past 34 years, our mission has been to promote and protect the right to health of all people living under Israel's responsibility. We provide humanitarian aid while we work towards policy changes to achieve social justice. The Open Clinic provides individual on-site medical assistance to migrant workers, asylum seekers, and other statusless individuals, along with our ongoing efforts towards positive policy change. In Hebrew, we say that we combine tzedakah with tzedek. I hope you all understand what these mean. And these days, we're intensively working on promoting the state-subsidized universal healthcare for Tsega and her statusless peers, so that they don't need to come to us and that they do have proper access to public healthcare services. And I'm particularly proud of the progress that we're making. But as you might know, our patients cannot wait so that we reach our goal. And we must continue to cater to the needs of our patients until we manage to reach it. And we must provide a safe place for them to get medical treatment, information, and support. So the current project is aimed at expanding and reinforcing the services of our women's clinic to meet our goals in 2022, including prenatal care assistance, access to information, checkups, and vitamins during pregnancy, as well as contraceptive and access to safe pregnancy terminations, and all this in a welcoming environment with proper cultural and linguistic mediation. Moreover, and of no less importance, we wish to run a support group for some of our patients to provide a safe place to share and process their experiences. Now, the total project cost is $64,500 US, and we're very pleased to have already raised about a third. But any boost will allow us to ensure that more women are able to access adequate medical services, that more pregnancies are properly monitored, and that more women have a choice over their bodies, and they have the information and the means to realize their choices in a safe way. And I cannot stress this enough, how important that is. I truly thank you for taking the time to hear about our work, and I truly am grateful for your support. Thank you.
Oh, hello to 3 screens
Just
of
pausing
women.
it again because our links are a little fast. So just for a moment to just reflect, a very different kind of project serving a very different kind of community, and with a very different approach. And I think you're already seeing that we really, when we chose the 3 projects, and by the way, the projects were chosen through quite a rigorous process by the Israel Committee of NCJW, it was very important to us to reflect this kind of diversity in the overall balance of programs that we were supporting. So now I'm going to move on to the 3rd organization, introduced by Fran.
On my computer. I'm Fran Levy, co-chair of our Israel committee, and it is my great pleasure to introduce Zameret and Heidi, as well as Osnat, the representatives of our last grantee, Isha L'Isha. Many of you will recognize this organization, which focuses on implementing system-wide solutions to problems faced by women. We've partnered with Isha L'Isha on several groundbreaking programs over the years. Their IGP project this time involves training underrepresented women, 50% of which are disabled, to run for municipal office in Haifa. This project is providing training and support to a diverse group of women leaders from marginalized communities to get involved in the electoral process and to be part of the Haifa municipality as elected members, setting the stage for a shift in policies. As with our other 2 grantees, they'll have a real impact. Osnat, Zameret, Heidi, over to you.
I would like to thank you all, first of all, for being here with us. It's a great pleasure to be here. And also thank you very much for all your support. We have been a partner of NCJW for a while, and we are really very honored by that. I mean, I would like to start by saying something about our situation globally. And we need to take a look at the people that are developing such policies, as well as those that do not have a seat at the table. The comprehensive project does that and uses the local elections that will take place next year in Israel as an opportunity to make a change. As of today, there are no women with disabilities in the current municipality. Their voices, experiences, and contributions are totally lacking. Therefore, the project aims to bring not only women with disabilities, but also women that have been historically excluded and underrepresented with an intersectional perspective. Therefore, we believe that the inclusion of feminist women with and without disabilities in decision-making positions benefit the entire community and society in Haifa. And Haifa is often considered a model and best practice for other cities as well. The change that we want to see through this project is, first of all, a shift in behavior by having local women leaders take the step and put themselves forward as viable candidates for these elections. To see a shift in engagement where women leaders mobilize the community to get involved in the local electoral process, and to set the stage for a shift in policy that we so much need. The kind of leadership that we are looking for is a community-based leadership and not an egocentric leadership. So even though we know and we are aware that not all participants will promote themselves as candidates and will become elected leaders, we see the group as a supporting body for the women that take that step, which we believe is very important. And I give the to my colleague who is leading this project.
Good evening, my name is Tamer. I just want to say that the team are doing it together, so I'm not doing it by myself. You see here the picture because last week was the first meeting of our courses. We have 17 women in the course itself, and as you can see, all kinds of nationalities, if you can say it like this, from all areas of the society. It was very important for us from the beginning that the course will be women with and without disabilities, because we think that we have a shared aim. So therefore, it was very important for us to do it together. Heidi, if you want to move the slide. Okay, so beside us, we have another 3 partners in this project. We have We Power, which is a feminist organization that actually motivate and help and teach women how to run for, whether it's on the local election or even the national election. The Center for Independent Living, which is actually a project or a center from Haifa municipality itself. And it's a special center for people with disability. So they are also partner with us. Beit Easy Shapira is another organization for people with disabilities. And all of us are working together inside this project. This project took more than a year of planning and building it in order to start it last week. Second, the last one. We have training of 12 meetings, which includes different tools and knowledge and meeting with other participating of leaders with disability, whether it's from a parliament member or a municipality council members that they participate in the course are going to meet and talk with them, and they're going to study through the training itself. They're going to get information about feminist struggles, disability struggle, a little bit of history of feminism and disability struggles, but also to get really effective tools to how to make a media campaign, how to talk to the audience, how to read a budget from a gender lens and other issues and topic. And could you move the slide if there is another one? Okay, I'm sorry. The idea of the impact of this training is to give, like say, advanced of women empowerment to run towards more, let's say, gender equality, because we do have some kind of gender equality in Israel, but not enough. That's it. Sorry, can you move the slide? And what we have managed to raise some money, but not all the money that we need for the project itself. But the boost of NCJW can actually help us to develop the tools and to get more professional women that can give us more professional tools, and also a company, the women themselves, the one that will decided to run, accompany them even after the training itself is finished in their journey, hopefully into the town hall itself. That's it. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. I'm after a long day work, and I just realized that I wrote everything in Hebrew instead of English. So
I would like just to add something, which is, besides supporting the project itself, we would really look forward to learn from experience in the States. Like, we know that elections, and especially local elections, are very important, and women have put themselves forward, women with from different communities, and we would like to learn from that experience, as well as the solidarity of recognizing how we share many experiences and how many things are different. And that is also a very important aspect, especially of the connection that NCJW has with Israel and feminist women and groups in Israel. Osnat, sorry.
Yeah.
Can I add one point? I think that my dream is that a young child, a girl with disability in Haifa will look up to these women as models, and will think, I can be that person when I am a grown-up. And this is actually the greatest dream, that will develop a community of leadership that will change both local policy and the Israeli policies as well. So that's it.
I also want to add another thing, is that when we were interviewing the women who wanted to participate in the group, I think a very strong idea came from many women that says that I also would like to be appreciated as the person that I am, and not necessarily from my disabilities. So I want people to say to me, yeah, you can be a leader regardless my disability or not. And this was something that was very, very strong for the experience of many women who came to this training course. And this training course is also supposed to provide a supporting group to those who will decided to run, because we know how it is for a woman to run to a public office, no matter who you are. And if you are also a woman who have also disability, it's like a double hardship. So in that way, the togetherness is very important also. And this is also one of the main goals of this group.
Thank you so much. And Tamara, I don't think anybody felt like you seemed like you were tired after a long day. You were very fluent and very passionate. There you go. That was from me to me. Okay, so those are our 3 projects. And I told Marilyn and Carol, a few weeks ago, that I'll be happy to take questions, although I don't represent the organizations.
So, can you hear me? This is Carol. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, good. So I have a question. There is one question from 2 people, Elaine and Paula, want to know this. Do you know if any of these organizations are serving Ukrainian refugees? And Paula says the same question as Elaine. Are these organizations serving incoming Ukrainians?
Yeah, I can tell you what I know about that. and there's another question that I can see. Okay, I'll start with the Ukrainians. First of all, I will say that aside from this, NCJW is keen to find ways to be relevant and support Ukrainian refugees or support civil society initiatives that are that are dealing with issues that are being raised through the crisis. And so we are kind of learning about what different organizations are doing and looking at that separate from IGP. You know, the possibility of some kind of emergency support or something is under discussion. But what I will say about these organizations that I know of is that PHR, Physicians for Human Rights, I was in touch with them about it. I asked them specifically, and they said that they haven't really been inundated yet, but they're preparing for the possibility. And they have been playing a role in directing refugees to other services. So that's what they told me about that. And I know that Isha Leisha in Haifa has been involved in trying to advance some advocacy, trying to build some coalition, trying to encourage women's organizations to speak out. They were involved in that in relation when the government policy was was particularly harsh about on refugees, having a very low quota, and then the policy softened a bit, so they shifted as well. Another of the organizations that wasn't represented here tonight, but I'll just mention it, is an organization that's in our Connecting for Impact Fellowship, and it's called Lo Omdot Mineged. It's an organization which works to end the cycle of prostitution or support women to break free from the cycle of prostitution. And they've been active as well in putting out information to support women who are at risk of being trafficked, and to help organizations that are trying to prevent trafficking to know what questions to ask, to have the right kind of support in place. So there are things going on with the family of NCJW organizations, and to some extent it's a little bit kind of just the beginning. It's just kind of the tip of the iceberg right now. People are coming, refugees are coming, and also, you know, Olim Chadashim are coming. You know, people are making Aliyah. A lot of people are also making Aliyah. It's a new wave of Aliyah. So there is a great need, and yes, Al-Bakur is not involved in that. They're more localized in the communities they serve in the Negev.
So I think you've really answered Gladys's question, which was, is our grant money part of the 20,000? Or is it additional funding to the program we wish to support?
It's it's the program you wish to support, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be voting.
All right. So I think that's all the questions I have in the chat, unless anybody else wants to put their hand up. All right. So that means you've covered an awful lot of ground. And all I want to say is, Kalela, you put together an amazing presentation. It really painted the picture for us from the actual people on the ground, and it was lovely and wonderful to hear what NCJW does in Israel. I have only admiration. So I want to say one more thing. I look forward to meeting you in person at Washington Institute in May.
I'll be at Washington Institute, and I'll be bringing our cohort from Connecting for Impact. So if any of you are going to be there, that I will just love to meet you in person. And Tzameret, who you met of the third organization, Isha Leisha, she's in the cohort. She'll be there too. And I really like to see you.
We're going to connect with you between now and then, and maybe we can set a time to get together. So we, because there's a whole bunch of us, and we'd love to meet you and all the other people you're bringing. I also want to connect with the other people around the country who are on the Israel committees for NCJW. So we've got a lot of work to do. So I wanted to just say thank you so very, very much. And I want everybody to stay tuned, because Barry Lynn has some more for you. And thank you again, Kalela.
So I'm going to bow out. I'm going to say Laila Tov from me because it's already nighttime here. And thank you so much for listening and for caring and for being passionate about what we do in Israel. And good luck with your deliberations.
Thank you so much,
you.
Kalela. Shalom.
Bye-bye, shalom.
Shalom. Bergen County section members, now is your time for some input. And as Kalela explained, we are going to participate in the Boost program. We already have money in our budget earmarked for the Israel grant program. This year, it's a little bit different in that we can actually select the program that we wish to fund. One of these three programs that we just heard about. Each of them has already received $20,000 from our national office. And to make it 100% clear, our amount is an addition. It is the boost. So I'm sure you all have your reasons for loving and liking one of these programs. So Angelique is going to put up on the screen a poll, and we ask that you select the one program that you would like our money to go to. So Angelique, we just hit the, I guess, I don't. I guess I'm.
Marilyn, there's a question.
I did see it. I could answer it while people are still answering. We have
Okay.
$2,000 in the budget for the Israel grant program. We will be looking at and evaluating our budget in the next month or so, and there's a possibility that the amount might be increased. That's a cautious statement on my part about the increase.
All right, 90% of our participants have voted, and
Well, if I could also say that I think the board may have some input, once there maybe is a recommendation from finance, but the board could have input also on what number, how much money goes to this program.
Thank you, Elaine. And
Yeah.
also, Angelique, can you post the result, share, don't stop sharing, keep it on the screen. So I think if I'm seeing this correctly, that four people, am I correct, voted for Albacore?
We have a percent here, though. We're
Yeah,
looking at a
just-
percent.
Yeah,
18%.
okay, because it's showing on my screen, I think slightly differently. So 18% picked the childcare program, 77% chose the human rights, reproductive rights program, and 5% the program on voting and people with disabilities, advancing. All right, so these results are going to be brought to the board, as well as the issue of the amount of money, as Elaine just mentioned. There will be an opportunity for board input on both issues. But we are really grateful for all of you who have come today and have had an opportunity to put your vote in and where you stand on these three programs. I thought it was particularly interesting that Nationals has 4 priorities. The 4th is Israel, but 2 of the other 4, one is on reproductive rights and one is on voting. And I thought it was interesting that those 2 priorities of national are represented here. The 4th priority of national is the court watch, not court watch, court impartial courts. And so it's specific to the United States. So I want to definitely thank everyone for coming today. I want to thank Carol again for all of her work, and I want to thank all of the people